We see that Gwen had finished gathering the last of her things into her car that Ben had bought her, as he says that shrinking spell really comes in handy. Gwen agrees with that, hugging Ben as Ship was bouncing up and down outside with them. Thanks to Gwen's magic, she didn't really need a moving truck like normal college students would. Ben apologizes for not being able to go with her to help Gwen settle in, but Grandpa Max wanted him there just in case any heavy hitters might show up. Though she'd understood the caution after everything they've seen and fought together over the years. She kissed his lips and prepared to head on off, patting Ship's head, telling him to take care of Ben for her. Ship barked, wagging what could be considered his tail, as he watched curious and tried to jump into the car, but Ben grabbed him, saying that he wasn't gonna be able to go with her this time, making our little mechamorph say his name in a sad-sounding sigh in response, hearing he couldn't go with Gwen to college, even though he had no idea what that even was. Gwen honked at them and waved as she then drove off, and Ben patted Ship's head, saying that maybe a trip to the new base might help him cheer up, and Ship barked, curious about that. After locking the door, Ben got into his car, letting Ship ride in the passenger seat with the window partially down, as he had his head out the window barking. We see them going into a store called Max's Plumbing, and walking into a bathroom located in the back before pulling a chain attached to the toilet as a glowing circle appeared around their feet, and the two of them dropped into an elevator capsule, sliding down until they reached the bottom where a bunch of different alien plumbers were doing various jobs. Ben tells Ship that he can go and play, but to behave, and Ship starts to scurry off as Ben begins to walk off to a specific area before sliding down some stairs by holding onto the guardrails and not putting his feet onto the steps, then throwing himself over the side. He says that he's so glad that the Earth is finally ready to have a public branch now, making things so much easier. He walked over to see Grandpa Max, who greeted him while holding a pot of some sort, telling him that he's just in time for lunch. Zendurian goulash. To which he says that sounds good right about now, though the tentacles of whatever was in it reached out of the pot and grabbed Ben, while Max shoots at it with a blaster. Ben jokingly says it's a bit too fresh, and Max laughs in response to that, then says that he has the data, but was cut off by an explosion that rattled the base. The two then run to the main computer to see what the scanners had picked up, and Ben tells Max he'll get down there to have a look, but to have Alpha Squad ready just in case. No need to risk them if he can handle it alone. Max tells Ben he'll make a fine base leader one of these days, but Ben says he's not cut out for all that paperwork while twisting his wrist around, then runs to the elevator to get going. We then cut to Ben investigating what happened, and sees that the building had been blown mostly to bits with a crater in its wake as he slides down to the bottom of it to take a closer look. We see a large man wearing bones for armor, saying that this is their test run, make it a good one. We then see a mess of silver hair as a red colored light flashed, filling the area they were standing in. Then cut back to Ben dodging out of the way as a giant stinger plunged into the ground, with him taking note that they looked like stinkfly while they were pulling the stinger out of where it was stuck in a pipe. He saw an Omnitrix symbol on there as well. Ben questioned what that was about, and they tell him none of their business as they spat goo at him, and Ben says that Gwen's right, that really was disgusting. As the stinkfly got their stinger unstuck and flew into the air to get some distance, Ben hits the watch, changing into Crash Hopper, ready to fight. They laugh, asking if he's really going to fight a flying alien with a ground guy, and Ben says not only are they going to fight him, he's going to kick their butt. Then jumped into the air, ramming into them with their head, catching them off guard and hitting the Omnitrix symbol to see just who was under the transformation. We see Crash Hopper land safely as the other one fell on their back and rolls, trying to hide their face with their arms, as a small form then runs off trying to hide themselves from Ben as a canister rolled in front of them before smoke began filling the area. Once it was clear the other, whomever they were gone. Suddenly a little green alien with metallic bits appeared, having hidden in a toilet, asking if they were all gone. Ben recognized them, asking Pakmar if they were all right and what exactly happened there. So he tells them that some alien lowlifes had been shaking down law-abiding alien businessmen, all of them in town. We cut to Ben going to Mr. Bauman's place, and we see him talking to the owner of the place, asking what's up with the whole threatening businesses. Pakmar said some goons were doing it to everyone dealing in alien markets. Bauman then tells him they're due to show up soon as they walked over to the counter, and Ben recognizes the alien sitting there. He greets them by name, remembering them from when Gwen went to the academy, asking what brings them to Earth. The alien, Roque Blanco, says that Magister Max 10 Tennyson has asked that he come to Earth to further hone his skills as Ben's junior partner while Mrs. Tennyson is away furthering her studies. Ben tells him to hold up. That's Miss Daniels. He and Gwen aren't even engaged yet, let alone married. And they then apologize for the confusion, as on his planet when a man and a woman live together, they are considered to be married if they are not of the same blood. That conversation was, to Ben's delight, cut short as the guys showed up ready to cause trouble for the other patrons and Mr. Bauman. They hear someone calling out that it's time to pay up and turn to see 3 aliens carrying a bomb of some sort, but they stop seeing Ben and tell Bauman that they warned him not to get the plumbers involved as they started fighting, and Ben was about to reach for his plumber's staff but stopped and activated the Omnitrix instead. Hitting the watch, he changed into a new transformation that looked like a walking humanoid stone wall with technology holding him together. Bauman asked what this one can do, and Ben tells them to watch as some sort of strange energy appears from the ground, starting to rise up, creating a box around himself, Rook, the criminals, and the bomb. The alien in the suit filled with water said that they'd finished activating the bomb and starts to join the fight as Ben and Rook start fighting them off. Their blasts simply dissipate when they hit the walls of the box, protecting the store and the people watching from being caught in the crossfire as they took them down and arrested those guys. The alien in the suit says that the bomb is still going to blow, and Ben says no problem as a different strange sort of energy appears wrapping itself around the bomb as it blows but barely does any damage, only really having the direction down to go. Ben apologizes for the hole in the floor, and Bauman says that's a small price to pay for a safe store and thanks the two of them.